Belarusian volunteers were said to be participating in Kyiv's defense when hand-to-hand fighting broke out in the Ukrainian capital. Reports suggest that volunteers from the country defied the alliance of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko with Russia and formed their own battalion. Belarusian volunteers were said to be participating in Kyiv's defense when hand-to-hand fighting broke out in the Ukrainian capital. Reports suggest that volunteers from the country defied the alliance of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko with Russia and formed their own battalion. It is estimated that thousands of Belarusians are living in Ukraine. Many people have fled their homes following Belarus anti-government protests in 2020 and 2021, which resulted in large-scale crackdowns and mass detention of protesters. And hundreds of people are said to have joined the Ukrainian defense forces so far. The majority of volunteers work with newly established territorial defense units or provide ancillary services. Belarusian volunteers are taking part in the defense of Kyiv, reporter Thomas Van Lenge wrote on February 26. Lukashenko made the Belarusian territory complicit in the invasion, but the Belarusians are making it clear that they oppose it. Kremlin. Almost 2 weeks later, a Telegram channel called @BELWARRIORS called for more Belarusian volunteers to join their battalion when fighting broke out in Kyiv. Belarusian volunteers now fighting for Ukraine call for real men to join them, write account. By far, our squad's most experienced fighters have been at the forefront. The rest do not waste time and train all day, and every day there are more and more of them, other Belarusians in capital Kyiv of Ukraine and the western city of Lviv. They all wear yellow bands around their arms, marking them as part of the Ukrainian resistance, as well as the military uniform or coat of arms of the Belarusian opposition, a knight with a sword. Our work here is part of the Belarusian resistance, said activist Olek Aleshko, 33, from Minsk, who left Belarus after a police crackdown in 2020, and now lives in Odesa. It is very dangerous there, he added. If I go back, I will be arrested, because Belarusian President Aleksandr Lukashenko is a puppet of the dictatorship of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Resistance is always extinguished, that's why I'm leaving. He admitted that there were some initial doubts from the Ukrainians, but he said he was determined to prove himself. We hope the war will end with the fall of Russia. He talks about the resilience of the Ukrainian defenders, including those who, like him, come from elsewhere. At this point, there can't be a happy ending to this war for Putin. Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko's support for Russia in this conflict is unshakable, even as he denies that his troops are active in Ukraine. In February, it offered to supply Russia with nuclear weapons before the invasion of Ukraine broke out. For years, Belarus has tried to balance close ties with Moscow and engagement with the West. But recently, Belarus has definitely turned to Moscow and remains one of its few allies. A relationship fueled by Belarus isolation following massive anti-government protests in 2020. In another development, at 10:30 a.m. on March 26, Major General Igor Konashenkov, spokesman for the Russian Defense Ministry, continued to update the summary of the hostilities. On March 25, the main surface-to-surface cruise missile, the Russian Kalibr destroyed a warehouse for ammunition and weapons near the village of Veliki Korovnitsy, Zhytomyr region. In addition, a high-precision Onyx cruise missile, which can be launched from a warship or a Bastion P coastal defense complex, destroyed a fuel depot in the Mykolaiv region, providing fuel for the troops. Ukrainian team in the south. The Ukrainian side claimed to have destroyed 575 tanks, 1,640 armored fighting vehicles, 293 artillery pieces, 91 multiple rocket launchers, MLRSs, 51 air defense systems, 117 aircraft, and 127 helicopters, and 1,131 vehicles special military forces, 7 small ships, 73 fuel tanks, 56 tactical grade UAVs, 19 special military equipment, to short-range ballistic missile systems. Notably, the damage data of Russia announced by the Ukrainian side has generated 2 more short-range ballistic missile systems that have just been destroyed. Kherson, Ukraine's only major city, to be captured by Russian troops, is becoming a hotbed of fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces, a senior US defense official said. At the Kherson battlefield, the Pentagon official said, the Ukrainians are trying to get Kherson back. We can't confirm exactly who currently controls Kherson, but the problem is, it doesn't seem to be under Russian control anymore, the official added, speaking on condition of anonymity. The official said that, if Ukrainian forces succeed in regaining control of the strategic city on the banks of the Dnieper River, then the Russian troops around Mykolaiv will be strangled between the Ukrainian forces defending Mykolaiv and forces at Kherson. That would make it very difficult for them to make any form of land movement towards Odesa, the main seaport still held by the Ukrainians. It will be a significant development, no doubt about that, the official added. But besides the achievement of Ukrainian forces, officials in Kyiv on the same day said that Russian missiles hit the head of the air force in the city of Vinnytsia, central Ukraine. Specifically, the Ukrainian Air Force said on Telegram that, at about 16:30 on March 25, the Russian forces carried out a missile attack on the territory of the Air Force Command in Vinnytsia. Russian forces carried out an attack with 6 cruise missiles. Some were shot down by air defenses, others hit many structures, and caused significant damage to infrastructure. Assessing the consequences of the attack, the Ukrainian Air Force
повністю знищений